Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Laz-Art. It's so nice to be able to say hello to you. Before we do anything art, I just have to say how much I have missed seeing you all coming into my classroom. Today we are going to do a worksheet on mandalas. We've been working on radial symmetry all year, and a mandala is just a symmetrical design. Symmetry, of course, means that it's the same on both sides, whereas radial symmetry means that it's the same around an axis. And we did this whenever we actually did our mosaics. So these are your directions for doing the mandala. I'm going to switch down to where my hands are. And we're going to start with a piece of paper. We want to turn it into a square. The easiest way for turning a piece of paper into an even square is simply to take this upper edge, to fold it down, line both of these edges up, and to make that diagonal fold. This part right here, this little rectangle that is sticking up, is your excess that you'll need to trim off. Oh, I've got scissors that don't work. So we're going to trim this section off of the paper. You'll want to keep your paper folded, or if you don't want to fold it, you'll want to make a pencil line, and then you can open it and cut. And then this part is actually just trash, and that will give you a nice even square. We want to find the middle of this square so that we could put the center of our design in. We're still on step number 1. So we want to fold it the opposite way, and that will make a nice X, which I'm hoping is going to show up nicely for you on the video camera. We want to put a circle. This is step 2 now. We want to put a circle in the middle of this piece. Whether you want a small circle or a big circle, I'm a great believer in tracing because it's just easy. So you're just going to draw that nice circle in there. And then you're going to draw a square around the circle. You can take your piece of paper, if you don't have a ruler, simply use it as a straight edge and just draw to each one of those folds. Trick is to make sure that the bottom edge here, you'll be able to see through it a little bit. Make sure that it's lining up nice and evenly with the edge of your paper. Even if it does overlap a little bit, you can see if it's straight. That should give you a nice, even square. If it's not even, just simply fudge it a little bit. Mine's actually going to come out that it's not perfectly even. So we're just going to pretend it's even, make that little line and erase, and no one will be the wiser. Our next step is to make a circle around that square. So what I want to do, this is actually a little bit too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fake it and make my circle just a hair bigger. Try and keep that uniform as I go around. If there's any mistakes, if you sketch nice and lightly, you'll be able to fix those mistakes quite easily. Okay, so basically I have the format for my mandala. On the worksheet, you'll see that mandalas come to us from a Buddhist culture, and that they are traditionally done by monks. They learn how to memorize the mandalas, and they do have a religious significance. We're not actually going to talk about the religious aspects to the mandala. We're simply going to borrow some of the designs from these beautiful pieces of artwork. So some of you that were here last week and were online, our assignment last week was to come up with just some sketches of something that is of interest to you. And I specified that I would like your sketches to be all about the same thing. So let's say that you like dance and reading and sports. You don't want to put a dance shoe and a book and maybe a pair of soccer cleats or shin guards or whatever. What you want to do is you want to pick one interest and just come up with these little, they call them thumbnail sketches, just so that you work out how to draw things and however what you want to include in your design. And then you can start on this format here in the middle, and you can draw like what you want to be your central piece. Mine, of course, is art because I eat, drink, and sleep art. I just love it. Someone once asked me, don't you feel like you have to be in the mood to create art? And I said, absolutely not, that I just love doing art so much that I could do art any day of the week. And I guess that's why I grew up to be an art teacher. So I drew my palette in the middle, and then I, of course, am going to add my tubes of paint for my design, and they're going to go all along the edges. And you can see through the magic of television and a teacher that makes multiple samples, I've got one already done. And I'm hoping that these details will show up nicely for you. I've got the palette in the middle, I've got the paints, then I've got the original circle. I have pink pearl erasers in the corners, and then I've got some pencils. And of course, these are all things that would have to do with art. So what I want to do next is I want to start coloring this in. I'm going to take colored pencils, and I'm just going to take my time. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I have on my lesson plans that I'm giving you 2 weeks to have these colored in, because you can see how slowly this goes whenever you're coloring with colored pencils. I don't want you to rush through and make a lot of mistakes. One of the things that I have on step 4 of your directions is that if you do have colored pencils at home and you're working with colored pencils, you can actually layer colors up. So I started my pink pearl with a nice pink pencil, colored pencil, and of course I want to color this in so that it's very solid. And let's say I want to do some shading for the bottom part of the eraser. I can actually come right back with a red pencil, and it's not going to show up pure red because I'm coloring on top of the pink. And that's going to give me all that shading along the edge of my eraser. So you can experiment with these colored pencils and layering up colors. I love colored pencils. They take forever to color something this size in, but you've got 2 weeks that we're going to be working on these, and so you've got a nice amount of time to get these colored in. On the worksheet, I've also included at the bottom on the left-hand side where you can go to a website to build a mandala. And you can also click where it says more images, and you can see more images of traditional mandalas. You can raise the camera. And I want to say a again how nice it is to be able to say hello to you. I hope that you don't get frustrated. This is going to take a long time to color in. Everything that I showed you here will take you at least the 4 class times to be able to finish. So don't feel that you have to finish it all in one shot. So, okay, you have a great time doing your mandala, and I cannot wait to see these showing up in our portfolios. Bye.